The world's a dangerous place. Get the industry's original and most trusted laser sighting system from Crimson Trace. A laser and light systems will enhance your effectiveness and help keep you and your family out of harm's way.
All right, we're back with Gun Talk, and before we go to the reloaded version, let me just tell you, this is the very last week for you to enter for a chance to win this special package from Crossbreed Holsters, our friends there who make the great holsters. All you have to do is go to guntalk.com/win, and you can enter for a chance to win. guntalk.com/win. Now, here's more training on Gun Talk. All right, let's get to the heart of the matter. Terrorist attacks in California. A man and a woman go into a gathering and shoot it up. Once again, remember how many times I've told you I don't know what the threat will look like, and if you think you know, it will slow your reaction time. It was a woman killing people. Are you prepared for that mentally? I sure hope so. So, putting aside the geopolitical, and putting aside the hand-wringing, oh my goodness, why did they do this? What were their motives? Can I tell you how many ways I just don't care? Because it doesn't make any difference. And frankly, let me just throw this one out too. I'm not sure we should spend much time talking about, well, gee, they broke all the gun laws, and so more gun laws wouldn't have done any good. Yes, we need to point that out, I guess. But let's not spend a lot of effort and time and energy on stating the obvious, that criminals break the law and terrorists don't care and are not impressed with our gun control laws. I would suggest to you that where we should be spending our time and effort and energy and money is in figuring out how to take care of yourself and your family. You will show the world what's important to you by what you put your time into. Time is the great currency. Because we all have exactly the same amount. We have however much we have. Funny, I just thought of this. And by working to improve your survival chances, you work to improve the time or increase the time you have available. Time, it's the currency. Spending time with your family, spending time with your children. If you don't, you're telling them their value. So for those who say, I am serious about self-defense, I am serious about carrying a gun, great. I think it's wonderful. Now let's talk about what you're actually doing about it and not just talking about it. And to do that, I bring in one of the finest trainers I've worked with, and I've worked with a lot of them, Tiger McKee from Shootrite Firearms Academy in Alabama. Tiger, thank you for spending some time with me here.
Yes, sir. It's a pleasure, as always.
All right. I mean, we've all processed this. I guess one of the differences is, for a lot of people, an attack like this is in the news, and they start thinking about it. For you, certainly, and to some extent for me, I've spent the last decade or decades thinking about this, as have you. What's your takeaway when you look at this and people saying, okay, now I'm getting serious about it?
The main thing is that people need to realize that personal protection is an individual responsibility. When things happen, they happen usually quickly. Law enforcement is not going to show up in time to save you, your family, friends, whatever the case might be. You've got to be able to deal on an individual level with whatever problems might pop up.
It's interesting you say that, and I don't want people to say, well, gee, he's saying the police are incompetent. You're not saying that at all. You work with a lot of police. And even, we've had a lot of sheriffs the last few days say, look, people, you need to be carrying a gun because we'll get there as fast as we can, but until we do, you're on your own.
Oh, yes, sir. I've worked with a lot of police. I'm big fans. They don't get paid nearly enough for the jobs that they do. But the fact is, it's going to take minutes for them to arrive on the scene, and the situation normally is going to last a few seconds.
Exactly. And if people say, well, they got there in 4 minutes. They did, and that was wonderful. And they were brave and responsible and professional. They did a great job and all that. But here's what I want you to do, everybody. I want you to look at a watch and clap your hands every 5 seconds. That's somebody dying. So do you want to wait for 4 minutes? So that's really what we're talking about. Tiger, where I want to go with this is, and we just had Chris Serino in, another trainer, and one of the things he said it's really funny is of course I get to travel around and talk to all these different trainers. I work with Clint Smith and Tiger McKee and Gunsight and SIG Academy, and they all say the same thing. There are no advanced training. There's just the basics applied at a higher rate of speed or to a little bit more challenging situation, but it really is all the basics, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is. It's the ability to move, communicate, use cover, shoot accurately, the ability to clear a malfunction if that should occur in your pistol, and the ability to think under stress and already have as much of the solution figured out in advance as possible.
That's an interesting way of putting it. Have the solution figured out in advance. And by doing that, and one of the things we're talking about with Chris, and when you have a malfunction with the pistol, if you've trained enough, you won't even know that you have cleared the gun and fixed it. You'll just be in the fight again. It's crazy, but it happens like that.
You train you attend classes in order to get an introduction to the skills and techniques you need. Then, through practice and repetition, you get to the point where the subconscious can reload the pistol or clear a malfunction. Because we know the conscious mind can only think about one thing at a time. If you're having to try to remember how to clear that malfunction, that's going to kind of distract you from solving the problem.
Let me put it this way. For people who say, well, I don't know that I could get to that point. Well, you drive your car right now and you don't think, well, gee, where is the brake pedal? Oh, I'm going to have to accelerate now. Gee, I should put it in gear. Do I need to look down at the shift knob to do that? You do all of those things while doing a number of other things, and sometimes things we shouldn't be doing, like talking and texting. But you can make all of those automatic so that it just happens and you don't even remember doing them.
That's a perfect example. When you start driving, you're checking mirrors, you're having to do everything at a conscious level, think about it one step at a time, basically. That's how you start out with the firearms, and then you practice it until it happens without you needing to think about it.
That's it, exactly. I tell you what, I'm going to take a little bit earlier break right here, and then we're going to come back and talk with Tiger. Tiger, what I want to talk about is, yes, the training is important, and you got to go take classes with Tiger or somebody, but there are actually a number of things you can do that is practice that doesn't involve actually firing rounds down range, and you can do it daily, and you can do it in your home. The real question is, will you? 866-TALK-GUN.
Join the Ruger 2 Million Gun Challenge and help donate $4 million to the NRA Institute for Legislative Action. The NRA ILA is committed to preserving the Second Amendment right of all law-abiding individuals to purchase, possess, and use firearms. And Ruger pledges to donate $2 for each new Ruger firearm sold between the 2015 and 2016 NRA annual meetings. Visit Ruger.com/2million to learn more and support the NRA ILA by buying a new Ruger firearm today.
Want to customize the look of your firearm and give it ultimate durability? Well, don't paint it, Cerakote it. Cerakote is a spray-on ceramic polymer coating that uses state-of-the-art technology to achieve superior abrasion resistance and corrosion protection. Field-proven and trusted by manufacturers and gun owners like you, Cerakote is the industry's unmatched performance leader. In lab testing and real-world applications, Cerakote outperforms the competition every time. See for yourself and find a local certified applicator near you at Cerakote.com. Choose the best. Choose Cerakote and finish strong.
I'm just as good as these guys. When will I get my chance to prove it?
Your chance is now. American Marksman is a nationwide series of target shooting competitions designed to give you your big break. Think you've got what it takes to go home with $50,000? Visit ammarksman.com to register today. That's ammarksman.com. American Marksman. Are you the one?
Two things intimidate most new shooters: noise and recoil. Well, at silencershop.com, we turn this into this. Adding a quality suppressor to your pistol or rifle doesn't just make your gun quiet. It reduces muzzle flip and recoil, making your gun easier to shoot and more accurate. The only thing you have to lose is all that noise.
How about the camo pants? Can I lose them too?
Yeah, okay. Put a silencer on your gun and have some fun with silencershop.com, making the world a quieter place.
In today's climate, you always need to be ready. Nothing will make you a more accurate or confident shooter than Crimson Trace laser sighting systems. Get the immediate, decisive advantage of the world's only grip-integrated laser sights. Shoot better. Stay safer. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our new laser training video, The Laser's Edge.
All right, we're visiting with Tiger McKee from Shootrite Firearms Academy, and it's on the web. Shootrite is SHOOTRITE.org. Somebody just asked me, Tiger, what are the costs of your classes? Well, it depends on which class you're talking about. You got that information on the website, I imagine.
Yes, sir. We have the group classes that are scheduled throughout the year, and then we also do private tutorials.
What would the private tutorial be? How does that work?
Basically, some of them are just one person. Some of them would be a couple of people. Some, we're getting a lot of families coming. And what we do is start working on the skills used to defend yourself with your pistol. And the great thing about a private class is that it's just me and you or whoever might be attending. And so you get a lot of personal attention. There's not 20 people. It's a small group. We get to cover a lot more material. And you get individual attention so you can really fine-tune your skills.
Okay, I should probably at this point should just let people know. It was about 2 years ago. I was doing something in your part of the world, actually in Birmingham, and I had I guess I had a day free. And I called you. I said, look, you got any time? And you looked at your schedule. You said, okay, I've got a half a day. And I drove up there and I purchased a half-day tutorial because that's all you had. I said, look, I don't know what I need to learn, but I need to learn stuff about ARs and carbines and fighting. And you just did an abbreviated introduction with me, and it was great. But now I need to come back and take a full carbine class with you because that's an area that I know I'm weak on. So we're going to be making that happen too.
That sounds good. We'll be looking forward to that. You can meet our new goats.
Goats?
Yeah, Gretchen has goats now.
Now, of course, now I know Gretchen's a good cook, but I'm thinking maybe the goats are not for eating.
No, they'll be for milking eventually when they get mature.
Okay. I mentioned before we got to the break, there are things you could do. Of course, you need to go take classes. The class is to teach you what you need to go work on, and then you go work on it. But you have been a proponent for a number of years of using a blue gun, an inert gun, and there are a ton of things you can do right there in your home if you do them every day. What would that be, like drawing, moving? What would you do with an inert blue gun?
Exactly. You're working on drawing the pistol, presenting it smoothly and efficiently, especially from concealment, which is how most of us carry. You're working on moving. You can use the couch as cover, so you're getting behind cover. You're working on footwork, which is incredibly important because you need to be moving and you still have to be stable. Like the experts, this is people that know a lot more about this stuff than I do, say that 90% of your practice should be done dry. So you can use blue guns or dummy guns. You can get the dummy ammo to practice empty reloads and malfunction clearances. And what I tell people is I've got a range in my backyard, and I've got enough ammo to practice, but I hardly ever get to actually shoot. Every day for 10 or 15 minutes, I'll dry practice something. And everybody can work that amount of time into their daily schedule. And you actually learn a lot more through dry practice than shooting, because when we're shooting, we get caught up in where did the bullet go, how small is my group, and stuff like that. Shooting's actually not that difficult. It's all the other things we need to be doing at the same time.
It's a great point. One of the points I try to make to people is say, I'd love to get your take on this, see if I'm doing this right. When you practice your draw, slow down. You're not trying to go fast. You're trying to groove the proper movements.
Yes, sir. All of my practice is done really slow. And people go, well, what if I'm not fast enough in a fight, in a confrontation? And usually we go too fast because people don't practice. They get into a rush. They start making mistakes. It's about going at the speed. Even though somebody's trying to hurt you, you have to operate at a speed that your body can perform and give you predictable results from your actions.
And you know that speed by doing it over and over again. And you get an empty gun, a blue gun, a dummy gun, and you work from the holster and you draw and you work on maybe, and it may be just, okay, I'm going to work on for 1 minute, I'm going to work on the move from my hands are down to my left hand goes to the center of my chest and my right hand goes to the gun. That's all. That's all you do for a minute, and you just slowly, over and over, make that move. And then the next one is, I'm going to work on the presentation. Gun comes out, locks, and you're just breaking it down. But you do all that, and it's amazing what happens when then you go to draw. You have the movement correct, and it all comes together.
Yes, sir. It's not about being fast. It's about being efficient. And the only way to become efficient at anything is through practice and repetition. And when you go slow, it actually allows you, gives you the time to be thinking about, okay, is this step right before I go to the next step? Because practice don't count unless it's good practice.
Now, people are, I know they're thinking, well, how can I take advantage of this? Well, there are several ways. You have a wonderful, wonderful book called The Book of Two Guns. I cannot recommend it too highly. And it's available from your website. It's also available over at our website at shopguntalk.com. But you also have this DVD. It's called Fighting with the 1911. And I almost am embarrassed that we called it that, because the truth of it is it's really just about gunfighting with a pistol, regardless of the model, right?
Yeah, about 95% of the content is going to apply to any semi-automatic pistol that you're working with. And that's what we try to do with the skills we teach, is that they'll work with any pistol you pick up. The mag release may be in a different place or something like that, but if it's a semi-automatic pistol, these skills are going to apply.
All right, here's a question that Michelle just asked. She says, how much does physical ability and fitness have to do with success? And it's a great question, because I've told a couple of people in the last few days, I said, if you're going to make a commitment to this whole self-defense thing, how about including a commitment to start walking, to start getting in shape? Because in my view, and I've written a book about survival in the outdoors, interviewed a lot of people who had these close calls, and to the last one, it was because they had some measure of physical ability that they were able to survive. Does that make sense?
I think that's very important. Not just from we may not need to run 100 yards or something, but physically, the better shape you're in, the more mental confidence you have, And you know, okay, I can take this. It's not going to be any problem. I'm not going to die from it. I'm going to make it through this.
Toward that end, how about training in combatives, hand-to-hand, boxing, wrestling, just basically getting your hands on somebody and having them wrestle with you so that you understand you're not going to die if you get knocked down. You still can fight.
I think that's an excellent idea. You know, none of us, or few of us, have time to study, say, a discipline that requires 10 years, fancy movements, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But it's a good idea to know some fundamental unarmed skills and then go to somewhere where you can actually spar or roll on the mats or something. Because if the first time you ever get hit is in a violent confrontation, it might be sort of a surprise.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Tiger, I'm hearing from people who are saying they're buying guns and the gun stores are busy and all. And, of course, I keep thinking, I've been telling you all along something like this was going to happen, and then the government's going to come along and the prices are going to keep going up. So I just encourage people, keep buying what you think you're going to need and then buy about twice that much, but then devote some part of your budget to training.
Yeah, you've got to know how to use those pistols, rifles, whatever the case might be. There's very little that is natural about using a firearm efficiently. In fact, a lot of the stuff we need to do goes completely against our natural instincts. You've got to know how to use it.
It's not as much a hardware problem as it is a software problem.
Exactly. It's just like anything. If you're going to run a chainsaw, it might be good to get somebody to show you how to run one before you go out in the front yard and try to cut down a big tree.
Good point. All right, Tiger, we're going to get together and do something else. I got a plan here, so we're going to be doing some fun stuff. I thank you for what you do. You are truly one of America's great firearms trainers, and you're available to people. Again, I would encourage people to go to Shootrite, Shootrite, shootrite.org. Find out more about Tiger. Grab his book, grab that DVD. They're really good. Tiger, listen, best to you and Gretchen.
Same to you. Y'all have a good holidays.
All right, you too. Take care. I am quite serious about that. Just go to our website, shopguntalk.com. We have the book, we have the DVDs, we have other DVDs. You can train in your own home at $0. And it's also really quiet there, too. It's worthwhile.
You're listening to Gun Talk, now on more than 200 great radio stations. Now, here's Tom.
All right, we're still going to be talking about the terror attacks in San Bernardino. How many years have you heard me say this is coming? It's coming here. I know people say, oh, you're paranoid. No. I'm not even smart. Anybody could figure that out. You knew it was coming here. And it's here. So I guess the question is, once you get over the initial shock and anger and fear and puzzlement, what are you prepared to do? You, sir, madam. Nothing? I'm not going to change anything? Okay, fine, works for me. That's your problem. It's not my problem. But I got to tell you, if you look at this and you don't start thinking, okay, maybe I should start making some changes, I think you're clueless. But hardly anybody's clueless. Everybody I'm talking to says, yeah, going to start carrying more. Yeah, how about all the time? Yeah, gonna buy a gun. Good start. Good way to go. Take a class. Oh, man, absolutely. Home run. Got to do that. It really is a matter of commitment. And, it's funny. It's kind of like when you go on a diet, you have to get your mind in the right place. Because if you're not in the right place mentally, you're not going to be successful. And you know what? Here's another analogy. Like on a diet, sometimes it helps if you do it with somebody else. And maybe you've got a friend and say, look, let's make a commitment to go shoot together, to get some training, to work on tactical training. Let's get serious about this. It won't make you more frightened to do this. It actually wipes away the fear. The fear comes from understanding that you are helpless. The fear goes away when you say, I have options. I have a plan. I have things I can do. You actually get away from being fearful. People say, well, what are you afraid of? Why are you carrying a gun? What are you afraid of? And I say, I'm not afraid. I have a gun. I also have the training and the ability to use it. Should you be carrying a high capacity, whatever that is, firearm? I don't know. Anything's a million times better than nothing. If you're a woman, it's more difficult to carry. It just is. Fashion, clothing, all the rest of it makes it more difficult. But you know what? If you're a woman, you've been dealing with challenges all your life. If you're a mom, you've tackled a lot more difficult things than that in your life. You can figure it out. You can work it out. Anything from holsters in purses to belly bands to ankle holsters to whatever. It'll work out. All right, I want to take just a minute here. Give me a personal privilege. Jim Clark has been a guest here a number of times. Jim Clark Jr. I knew his dad, Sr., great guy. He was a good friend of my dad's. In fact, my dad put Jim Clark Sr. on the cover of Sports-A-Field magazine. First time a competitive shooter had ever been on the cover of Sports-A-Field magazine. Dad did an article about Jim Sr., national pistol champion and pistol smith. Jim Clark Jr., national shooting champion and world-class pistol smith. Well, Jimbo died yesterday, 6 a.m., lost that battle with cancer. Great family, wonderful people. His sisters, Kay Clark Michelik, brother-in-law, Jerry Michelik, niece, Lena Michelik, competitive shooter. Just all around wonderful people. So just basically doing a shout out here. I mean, every time I talked with Jim, worked with him, had him on the show, he was always laughing and joking and smiling and helping people everywhere, all the time. Really something. Just one of those guys. We actually were able to interview Jim. I guess that was that July? Yeah, July at the Bianchi Cup. And it may have been June. In Columbia, Missouri. And his son, Jess. And I've cut out a little piece of the show. It's on the Gun Talk television show. And if you go to our YouTube channel, look for Gun Talk there, find the Bianchi Cup, you can see them there. But I'm going to just play the audio from this because even with this, imagine seeing Jim smile. Start off with Jim talking and then Jess, and they go back and forth, the father and the son, and you can hear the pride that Jim had, and it was in his family. And I just share this, Jimbo, we're going to miss you, pal.
My name's Jim Clark. I'm from Princeton, Louisiana. Shooting with the boys has been great. We all started real young, and I was having a lot of fun with it until they started kicking my butt on a regular basis, and now I'm having to put it in a different gear.
I believe this is my 6th year here. I started immediately after I graduated high school and haven't looked back, haven't missed a year.
First year I shot the Bianchi Cup, 1981, I think. So there's been a few.
Shooting with my dad, a lot of times we're on the road at different matches, but when we are together shooting the same match, we kind of coach each other and help each other out. You know, there's no added pressure or anything, it only helps.
Shooting is a family sport. I think it's wonderful, of course, because both my boys are shooting with me, and they again beat me on a regular basis. I might screw in a little bit tighter choke on my gun than theirs, but it keeps us together. We shoot all different disciplines, so it's been a hoot.
Me and my family, we kind of use this as our vacation time. We don't take a normal vacation. We really don't go to the beach. We shoot.
We like to continue to compete because that's our R&D. We want to come out here, well, what do these guys need for this stage? What do they need for that stage? And we go to the shop and build it. So our competition end of it is our research and development for what we're doing at the shop. The guns have changed so much. If you could see the guns from the first Bianchi Cup, which were almost standard pistols and revolvers, compared to the pistols, especially now with the barricade wings and extended grips and butts, it looks like something out of Star Wars.
Experts agree that the low-range variable rifle scope is best for most situations. Now, Trijicon offers a stunning 1-to-6 power variable in the AccuPoint line. Featuring a battery-free illuminated reticle, superior glass clarity, and rugged construction, it's the one scope you need for hunting and competition. Long eye relief, aircraft-grade aluminum housing, manual brightness override. See the 1-to-6 power AccuPoint at Trijicon.com. Trijicon.com.
If you're like me, you don't have money to burn, but you still want to buy guns, ammo, and accessories. That's why we created Gun Dealio. That's a free smartphone app. Just download it and start getting the deals. Could be discounts, offers of free magazines for your gun, or you could be the first to hear about new stuff from gun makers. Here's how it works. With Gun Dealio on your phone, you get alerts when you enter a gun store. Special deals, you know. You don't have to do a thing. It'll do a lot of other cool things, like let you watch gun videos and listen to Gun Talk podcast. Plus, check it anytime for hundreds of deals and offers. Getting more while spending less. Smart, huh? Gun Dealio. Made in America. Gluten-free. At the App Store and Google Play or GunDealio.com.
Every crossbreed holster is handmade based on the design invented by our founder. A Kydex pocket molded around your gun for perfect retention. Leather backing for comfort. Specially designed clips allow you to tuck in your shirt for complete concealment. The highest quality mag carriers and belts sturdy enough to hold any gun. Our holsters come with a lifetime warranty and 2-week try-it-free guarantee. Crossbreed. Conceal and carry the cross. Crossbreedholsters.com.
What makes a legacy? Is it quality? Craftsmanship? Maybe it's the idea that every American deserves their right to security and peace of mind on and off the battlefield. What makes a legacy? Here at Colt, we're making it every day. Colt, built one at a time, proven every round.
Back with the 866 Talk Gun. Ray is called in, line 3. He's in Bluffton, South Carolina. Hey, Ray, what's up?
Hey, Tom. I've been doing some thinking. I just completed an AR pistol build a couple months ago. Held off on buying the SIG brace after all the confusion around it. ATF saying one thing, then they're saying another, so I'm just like, all right, I'm not touching that. And that got me to thinking about whether or not you can shoulder a mare's leg. I just don't know what to think there.
A mare's leg, like Steve McQueen carried and Wanted Dead or Alive, kind of a lever-action mare's leg that you're talking about?
Yeah, the lever-action mare's leg, yeah.
I think you could put it, on your forehead or do whatever you want to do, but nobody's going to, you're not going to get hammered for that. Do whatever you need to do. Now, having said that, let me throw this thought out. A regular AR-15. Here's what I'd like you to do. You have an AR-15, a rifle version?
Yes.
Okay. Here's what I want you to do. Take that rifle, stand up with your back against the wall, put it to your shoulder, Have somebody measure the distance from the wall to the muzzle. Now, put it down and pick up a pistol and hold it out in two hands, isosceles, and measure the distance from the wall to the muzzle of the pistol. It's going to be almost identical. You can shoot an AR-15 with a regular stock on it, and it's not too big. It'll do the job for you. You can maneuver around with it. You can shoot it so much better than a pistol rig. I am struggling to find a reason for the AR-15 pistol other than the fact that they're fun. But for self-defense, man, give me a carbine every time.
Definitely.
So rather than strain and say, well, can I do this, can I do that? Just get a carbine, an AR-15 carbine, and learn to use it well. Truly, the only thing you have to do is learn how to maneuver it through buildings, through doorways and all of that, and that's not that difficult. Hey, training, how about that? Line 2, Shannon is with us, Coos Bay, Oregon. Shannon, what you looking for?
Hey, Tom, how are you? Thanks for taking my call. I just purchased a Stevens Model 320. It's a security length 12 gauge that they make. Mm-hmm. And what I'm looking for, I want my wife to be comfortable shooting it also. And it's just a touch on the long side for her. Mm-hmm. Is there a combat stock or an adjustable stock out there for those weapons so that be better for her?
There may be, and I'm just not aware of it. I know that Mossberg, for instance, has actually like an AR-15 collapsible stock for their shotguns and the flex system. Yeah. Or you could get, what you might do is check on the Savage website on Stevens and see if they have a youth model in this. Mm-hmm. And if you could get the youth model stock, that would be what you want.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
Because that's going to get you the shorter stock, and that's going to be right where you want to be. So just check and see if they've got a youth model in this, and they do, get the stock for that and put it on there. You'll be good to go.
Okay. One other question. Is there a training course out there specifically for home defense for shotguns and stuff like that, or is it just part of a...
No, there are a lot of them like that. There are a lot of them that talk about self-defense with shotgun. What you want to do is take a shotgun defensive class and then ask and say, look, are we going to be learning about shooting from cover and moving to cover and moving through buildings? If you are, it's probably going to be a 2 or 3 day class minimum, or it could even be a 5-day class. But yes, there are a lot of classes available for self-defense with shotguns. So I would say definitely look into that. Thank you, Shannon. Let's see. We got time to get Paul in here? I think we might. Line 1, Paul's with us out of Lake Park, Minnesota. Hello, Paul. Talk to me.
Hey, Tom. I just got to say that, this shooting in San Bernardino, there's probably more people that died in car accidents in California than died in that shooting that day. And there's probably more people that died from cancer that day in California that died from the shootings. It's not the government's job to protect people from things like that.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. I'm just going to say, the whole idea of, and this is where I'm going to jump in and say, yes, you're right, but it doesn't make any difference, which drives people crazy when I say that. But the idea is to be persuasive and not be right. We're always right. We have our facts correct. But to tell people, more people died in car wrecks, nobody cares. It's not persuasive. More people died with cancer. True, but nobody cares, and it's not actually persuasive. The only thing that matters is maybe make the point that every suggestion made for increased gun control was already in place in California. So therefore, and don't leave off the therefore, say, so we know that gun control laws didn't stop this. So you're calling for the same laws nationally that didn't stop this. Always go to the therefore in that. But to go off on the car wrecks and accidents and all that, you confuse the issue and it's not persuasive. We have to condense and strengthen our arguments if we're going to win. this evening, as we're talking on Sunday, President Obama is going to address the nation from the Oval Office, from the White House, 7:50 Eastern Time, about the San Bernardino terrorism attacks. Attacks by terrorists, radical Islamic jihadist terrorist, in a state that has all the gun control laws that he's been calling for, and they all failed, as they always do. It's not really that crazy to understand that people who want to kill a lot of people don't mind ignoring gun laws. In fact, the only people who obey gun laws are law-abiding people, okay? We can go through this again and again. What's he going to do tonight? Executive action? Maybe. Call for more gun control laws? Yeah, probably do that. He'll probably say we're the only nation in the world where this happens. Not true, of course. We're not even first on the list. He may say that 355 mass shootings this year, when the number is actually 4, according to the article in the New York Times this week. And then we have the New York Times in its front page editorial. They haven't done that in decades, calling not for gun control, but for gun confiscation. And that's what you need to understand. The goal here, and I've said it before, but now they're out in the open because they feel like, okay, we can come out from under the covers, we can come out of the closet. Their goal is to take your guns away. And here we have the New York Times saying exactly that. Our goal is not to restrict guns or to require background checks or to require waiting periods. Our goal is to take away your guns. So I'll repeat, what are you prepared to do on an individual basis for your personal safety and security, to take care of your family? And let me point one thing out here. Even if your family is not with you, they depend upon you. So you need to take care of yourself for their sake. Now, the flip side of that is this, and a lot of us have thought about this seriously and come to a conclusion. They were going with the Flight 93 model. Let's roll. You bring it to me, I'm going to do what it takes to stop you. I may not be able to, I may only be able to delay you, but delaying means saving lives. If every time we have one of these terrorist attacks, and there will be more, if every time it happens somebody pulls out a gun and shoots back, it changes the math. It changes things. It gives people a chance to stay alive. So on a personal level, I just ask you, what are you prepared to do? Will you make some changes in your life? Will you commit to getting some training, real training? Will you commit to getting a real gun and a real holster and a real belt and carrying? Will you commit, as I'm going to do, going to get back into exercising and get a little bit better shape, because you never know what you're going to be asked to do. As we go forward, look at your kids, look at your lovely wife, your husband, your parents. Let's keep them all in our minds. Let's think about those who died in California and let them not die in vain. Let's make a personal commitment. And you know one other thing? You better get involved politically, because they do, in fact, want to confiscate your guns. I take them at their word. Got to watch Obama on this one.